Welcome to the Hilltop Sports Report. My name is Jumpin Jack, your host for this episode. I'm a first-year student here at Cornell, and I'm very excited to begin this podcast to highlight Cornell Rams athletics. Without further ado, it's time for episode 1. It's time to hit the music and begin the Hilltop Sports Report.
Let's go Rams! Let's go Rams!
Beginning with the review of Rams athletics in 2022, it was a successful first half of competition for the Cornell College Rams in the 2022-2023 campaign. Some highlights include, for the men's cross-country team, under the direction of Coach Jerry Frawley, they captured the Midwest Conference Team Championship. Fifth-year senior Aaron Davidson claimed the individual championship in the Midwest Conference as well. Coach Jose Fajardo's women's soccer team qualified for the Midwest Conference tournament and gave the top seed and host Cornell Pioneers a fight before ultimately falling 2-1. Wrestling, men's basketball, and women's basketball are currently in season. Wrestling is 7-2 in dual meets this season, and women's basketball is at the top of the Midwest Conference standings as the calendar flips to 2023. Men's basketball has 3 double-digit scorers in Jordan Mignani, Zach Engel, and Jaden Meeker. The Cornell volleyball team, with this season included, now has captured 10 consecutive Midwest Conference regular season championships and 8 Midwest Conference tournament championships. The team qualified for the NCAA Division III tournament this season. 3 players placed on the all-conference first team and 2 more placed on the second team. The Rams won 24 of the 25 sets in Midwest Conference play. They also had a senior star in Rory Light, who led all of NCAA Division III in blocks per set. Speaking of Rory Light, she, along with Marti and Olivia Richards, came into the Academic Technology studio for an interview, and we had a great time discussing all sorts of topics from this season and their careers as a whole. So, without further ado, it's time to hit the music and get to my interview with Marti, Rory Light, and Olivia Richards. I hope you enjoy. Welcome inside the Academic Technology studio, where I'm pleased to be joined right now by Marti, Rory Light, and Olivia Richards, the 3 seniors from the 2022 Cornell volleyball team. And to start us off, thank you so much for coming in this afternoon.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Okay, I'm first going to give some statistics, then get to the first question. 5 Cornell players made either the All-Midwest Conference first team or second team this year, and there could be arguments made for even more players that deserve that recognition. Rory was named to the AVCA All-America second team, and Isla Perez-Johnson was an honorable mention. Rory is among 3 Rams who were named to the Academic All-District team. First of all, is there any award that you, Rory, and your teammates can't win?
Yeah, we were really lucky this year. A lot of us got really amazing awards on the conference level and even higher too. I think we just we worked really well together and worked hard in practice every day.
So let's take this back. We're going to bounce around through this season and then just overall, big picture, your experiences with volleyball. So let's start with the basics. What are each of your first experiences with volleyball, and what made you interested in the sport in the first place?
I can start. I was in 8th grade when I first played volleyball, and my mom was like, oh yeah, you should go out for volleyball, and I did not want to do it at all, and I was a big basketball player at the time. And yeah, then I played volleyball, and then I got moved up to the 9th grade team in high school, and then ever since then I've kind of just fell in love with it.
Yeah, my story's kind of similar to Grace. I went out in 7th grade, but I did not want to at all because I thought it was a girly girl sport, and I was a pretty big tomboy growing up. But when I started playing, I just fell in love with it. It was awesome.
My story's not very similar to your guys'. I started in 4th grade, I would say, but my sisters were a big impact because they all played. I had 3 older sisters who played clubs, so they kind of wanted me to play with them so I could pepper with them in the yard. But I guess it was kind of like a good fun sport, or fun thing to do at the time, and then the more I played, the more I loved it, so I kept playing it.
For each of you, it sounds like you had different experiences at the beginning of volleyball But what led to your decisions to come to Cornell and be members of the volleyball team? Grace and Olivia, you transferred in and played 2 seasons here at Cornell, and you are a 4-year player, Rory, so whoever wants to go can go. And why did you come to Cornell?
I came to Cornell. I was at a 4-year school before, and then a coaching change had happened, and just kind of decided that I had redshirted my freshman year due to me tearing my ACL, and just kind of actually wanted to have fun and actually play my last 2 years. And so it was more so just kind of and putting myself in the transfer portal just to see what would happen. And then Jeff had reached out to me like literally with less than 24 hours later. So that was pretty cool. And then I came on like 3 visits to some schools and fell in love with Cornell the second I came to the campus and met Jeff and some of the girls.
Yeah, I played club for Jeff growing up, like all through high school. Actually, I played on Olivia's team, which is awesome that we got to play again in college. But yeah, so I just loved his coaching style, and I knew what I was getting into because of like the experience in club, and I really just liked Cornell as a school too. So I don't know, that was my decision.
Yeah, I came from a 2-year school, so I needed to transfer somewhere else, and COVID kind of messed up a lot of my playing years, I guess, because I didn't play my sophomore year. So I didn't know if I wanted to play volleyball again. But as I was looking for a new school, Jeff kind of reached out to me and he said, we would love to have you on our team. And I know he would be a awesome coach to go back to because I had played club with him before. And he kind of like reinforced that he would love to have me play for him. So that really made me want to come to Cornell. So that was awesome.
One huge shift from last season to this year, I'm a first year here at Cornell, so I didn't get to experience the small sports center, but now switching to the SAW, kind of put it into words, the big change that has occurred for the athletic facilities, for games and practices for you 3 this season.
I'd say like overall it's just a lot easier to get in the gym and go work out. Everything's right there. There's so much accessible. And then obviously it's so fun just being in there in general. Like I love lifting in there and seeing all the other athletes. Like we also have a full-time strength coach now, so that's awesome getting to know him and have him getting to know all the teams and the stuff. And then obviously playing in the gym is really fun, and we got to be kind of the first team to play in it, so that was super exciting.
Yeah, that was awesome. I also doing preseason a couple years ago to this year. It was so much easier because of the air conditioning, which is like such a blessing. I don't know what we'd do without air conditioning anymore. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. I would say it's kind of like night and day. Not that the last facilities were like terrible, but they kind of were compared to what they are now. It's just so nice now. And even the gym floor, like diving on it, you don't get bruises as fast as you did last year. So that's also a positive on the body because I had bruises on my hips last year.
Yeah, I think it's just more enjoyable to be in there too.
Oh,
it's
for
so
sure.
Nice.
For sure.
Okay, so now I'm going to get a few individual questions in here. So we'll start with you, Rory, playing for your hometown college. How would you describe your career? 9th all-time in kills, 7th in kills per set, 2nd in total blocks, and you own the single-season record for blocks per set. How do you put your career into words?
You know, I never expected that to happen, but it's really awesome. I've had a lot of support, which is really nice. My parents have been to like almost every game. I bet you could count on one hand how many games they haven't been to, so it's awesome.
It was fantastic to see this season. The Rams were dominant inside the SAW. And for you, Olivia, how did you adjust to your role in 2022 for more of an attacking position in 2021? Because your personal highs and kills as a Ram all occurred last year against UW River Falls and Cornell with 12 kills. This year, you're more of a defensive specialist. So how do you describe your change in positions from year to year?
Yeah, I was a little bit more offensive last year. This year, we had a lot of really good hitters come and join our team, and some of them were bigger than me, so they needed to be in the front row, and I accepted my role. I decided that I was going to be the absolute best I could be at my role that I was going to play, which happened to be a defensive specialist this year. So I really liked that I could focus in on defense, and I think that really helped me to not have to worry about offense and defense, but only like defense this year, and really just pick up balls that I needed to get them to the bigger hitters in the front row.
Yeah, these two did a nice job of cleaning
Yeah.
up. Hey, that's always nice to have that in the front row to just finish those rallies. So for you, Grace, you became quite comfortable in the serving role late in the 2022 season. What led to that success?
Honestly, I have no clue. This is the first year I've ever actually served consecutively in a game. I never served in high school. So it was definitely fun to start off with, just because I'm always like the person that's like, oh, I want to go serve receiver, I want to go pass, even though like I know I'm going to shank every ball. But then when it came to serving, Jeff had kind of pulled me aside one practice and was talking to me about my serve and just kind of said how you have a great serve, let's work on it and let's see if we can get it going in the games. And so I think it was just kind of from that moment where I was like, okay, this is serious. I'm actually going to have to be going in the games and serving. And then, I mean, mindset of when I was just in the game, I think I knew who was in the front row. I knew I had Rory and I had Olivia in there too. So that was obviously fun because I was like, I need to stay in as long as I can so I can be with the other girls on the court. But then I don't know, just knowing who I had on the court and just knowing that if I got the ball in, they would be able to end it somehow or terminate it and be able to let me keep serving.
So you've mentioned head coach Jeff Meeker a couple of times. So if you were to describe him in one word, what would that word be?
Calm. He's just really calm, yeah.
I have like a phrase. I would say like out of the box, just because he's so weird in the way that he describes stuff and like teaches us how to play the game, but it works. He's like so successful being so out of the box. So yeah, just that.
I was gonna say calm. I'll say, I don't even know. I feel like I'm gonna say kind, but not like, I feel like kind with like how he chooses his words. Like he knows, I don't know. Like how Liv was saying, he knows exactly what to say to all of us to make sure that we all understand it and we all are able to find something that works for us individually.
Is it wins that keeps you motivated? Your teammates, your love for the sport, all of these, or something else? What is it that keeps you invested in volleyball?
I'd say for me, not the obvious reason, but I mean, winning obviously helps, but I think just having a good support system within the team and outside of the team, like you're playing for something bigger than just yourself, and fans that are coming to the away games, and depending on where you're playing, the rivalries, the support from our student sections and all the other teams that come, like it's just so fun, and I don't want to ever lose when a lot of people come to the game, so I think that that's a big motivator.
Yeah, I was going to say the girls on the team definitely play a big role. We just have so many goofballs, and it's just fun to be at practice and watch them goof around, but also work hard at the same time. I've never had that dynamic on a team, and it was really refreshing this year especially. And yeah, the fans, just the Cornell volleyball history, coach, literally everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. There's so many just funny personalities on the team. Then when we all come together, it's like, I don't even know. It's like a party at practice, but it's not. It's like a serious party. I don't know. It's just, you have to be part of it to understand it. But it's like nothing that you've ever experienced before. It's just so much fun.
Whenever me, Claire, and Ella McLaughlin are in the front row, me and Ella are always like fighting with Claire. I'm always like, I want the ball, Ella. Like, I'm going to get the set before you. And then Ella's always like, no, I'm going to get set before you. So I think just like that, just kind of fun, like going on during the match kind of helps our mindsets, or just keeps everybody positive. And yet, like, we want the ball. We want to be the one to end it.
This season, when the pressure magnified at the end of sets, end of matches, you stayed calm, you three and the team in general. How did you stay calm and close it all out? Because at the end of the sets, it was just like, okay, here comes Grace, here comes Rory, here comes insert name here. They're going to make a play and end this match and end the set. So how do you stay calm in those moments?
I think for me, it was more so just like reminding myself and my teammates that this is, I mean, like it's the end of the set, but this is just like, we could just say this is the beginning of the set. Like it's just another point, and just to stay calm. And I think that that's when we play our best, is when we play calm, yet like we still are able to have fun and everybody knows that they can do it. And yeah, I think so. I think just like the constant reminders of that helps a lot.
I think for a long time we struggled closing out sets, and we were trying to figure out what would help us switch our brain, or I don't know, just so we could we would get to point 20 and then we would give them 5 points and then we'd be really close battling to finish the set. And I think we just decided focusing on games to 5 was the best for us. So we'd say first to 5, first to 10, instead of just playing the whole set. I think that was really helpful for us.
I would agree with that, yeah. One thing that went through my head was focus in and play each ball to the best of your ability. So if there was a ball that came to me, I was going to pass it perfectly to Claire. That was my goal. So that Rory and Grace or Isla could just put it away.
Team chemistry. How would you describe the team chemistry throughout your careers as Rams, and how did that off-court chemistry translate to the court? You talked about the practice atmosphere. Is it just that you love being together with your teammates and that just translates to the games or matches? What is it?
I think that I think that our team this past year was just great. I thought that there were so many different personalities that everybody just meshed together, and I think that made it so easy for practices to be fun. And then when we were done with practice, everybody would be like, oh, are we going to dinner together? We're all sitting at the same table, we're all sitting during season, we all are sitting at lunch together, breakfast. Everybody just had so much fun together, and it was that nobody could not be together with everybody.
I would say even outside of volleyball, getting to know people on a more personal level really helps as well. We help move first years in together, so us struggling up the unair-conditioned stairs of Bowman or Dow's really brings you closer together.
Bonding.
Yes, that was quality bonding. Or we would have movie nights in Grace and I's suite, or even just team talks and just hang out to get to know people outside of the gym as well. That helped.
So individually, what are your favorite memories on the court as Rams?
Oh gosh.
I think probably one of my favorite memories was this year when we beat Whitewater, who was ranked number 12 or something at the time. That was really awesome. I feel going into the game, none of us, we were all hoping it would happen, but I don't think we truly believed we could do it until, I don't know, maybe after that first set win where we were holy crap, we just did that. It was really fun.
I would say that one of my favorite memories is from last year when we beat Co in 5, because in the 5th set we were down actually, I think 6 points maybe.
Yeah, I think Isla went on a 6-0 serving run.
Something like that, but it was just amazing. And then the gym was absolutely packed and it was sweaty, so everyone was a hot mess.
So hot.
But it was so fun because no one was worried about how sweaty they were. We were just worried about scoring points and getting that Bremner Cup point. That was just It was amazing, and I think it was our first home game in that gym. So it was just a great welcome to Cornell. So that was cool.
Yeah. Those two are definitely some of my top memories too. I'm going to say the second co-game this year, just because we had lost the first one. And so I think a lot of us were pretty upset and just wanted that rivalry. And then it was at home, so we knew that we were going to have a good crowd. And I think our fans were upset that we lost too. So so about every point that we won, it was extremely loud in the gym. And that's just super fueling to all the players on the court and on the bench as well.
And at the time, that was the 20th ranked co-team, so that was even more of a huge win. So you talked about your team chemistry. Off the court memories, I just asked about your on the court memories. Is there any specific time, maybe going and getting food out on the road with your teammates? Are there any specific memories that you can identify that are your favorite as Rams off the court?
Oh God, I had one and I forgot.
I'll go. Yeah. This year we did a arts and crafts night with one of our past players, Lindsay, and I thought that was the funniest thing in the world because she said, bring hair dryers, and we're like, what is going on? So some of us were bringing hair dryers, but it was a painting night, so we used hair dryers to dry our canvases. But there are some not very artsy people on our team, and it was so funny watching them try and be artsy or just not be able to do it. And then the artsy people on our team were having to help them. But it was just funny seeing people struggle a little bit. I was one of the ones struggling, but
I think so what I was gonna say was that our trip to Colorado, me, Olivia, and Grace got to room together, and so we got to spend a lot of quality time together because we were it was over block break, so we were there for 4 days or something. And I don't know, I'm going to kind of out us right now, but we told the whole team, so there was 2 beds in the hotel room, and we told the whole team that we were just gonna sleep in one bed. So like, if anyone else wanted to come in, they could have the other bed, and everybody believed us. Like, I think still to this day, they believe us, and I don't know why. So I just thought that was really funny.
Let's just touch on pre-match routine for a minute. Do you have any superstitions that you would follow before the game, or would you just say, this is what I've done for my entire career, I'm going to trust the process, trust what I've done in practice, and just go from there, roll the ball out, and let's serve and let's play? Or do you have any superstitions that you follow?
One that's kind of been more recent, I guess, just since I came to Cornell, is unless it's a game that my parents aren't able to go to, I normally always get a text from my dad before the game, so I always like reading that kind of before. But otherwise, I think it's just like, for me, being able to make the small connections with my teammates right before the match, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page, everybody's in the same mindset and just ready to roll.
I feel like I have a lot, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I don't have any at the same time. So like, this year I wore my socks inside out, like I think almost every game. And then we always sing a Sam Smith song before every game. We like scream it together in the locker room. What else? Oh, we write each other notes before games, and it kind of just gets me in the headspace to like play a game. I always drink an energy drink, things like that.
I feel like once I do something at the beginning of the season, I have to follow through with it that whole season. So like my hair, I have to keep it the same the whole entire time. So Caitlin would braid it, and then Isla would do the buns. And then another one that I would always do is right before I go into the game, I'd make sure to wipe my shoes off and like wipe them on my ankle braces and then get ready to go in.
And not going to lie, it was an up and down start to this season for the team, starting with sweeps over Dubuque and Marion, and then followed by 3 consecutive losses. Was there a moment after the loss to Augustana at the Mount Vernon High School that flipped the switch, because the team won 25 of the next 28 sets after that match, including 2 sweeps the following day in the co-invitational? So was there a switch that flipped after that game, or where do you identify the momentum switching?
I think definitely something switched. I don't know what it was. We were definitely in some sort of a rut. I just remember after the Augustana game, I was looking at Rory after the game, and I think we both literally had fire coming out of our ears. We were so ticked off, just because, not like at like anybody specifically, just like the overall, like, we knew we could play way better, and for some reason it just wasn't happening out on the court, and things just weren't working out. Just like the practices following after that, I feel like got a lot more serious, and I feel like just like the whole team in general, I feel like us 3 kind of tried to take that, or like take a step up and do that and help everybody, and just make sure that everybody knew that this is not how we're gonna play the rest of the season, and that we have way higher expectations. Yeah.
I think that game was also kind of a turning point, because we had like 3 freshmen playing really big roles for the varsity team, and I don't think they understood what they were capable of until after that, when we were all really upset. We all knew we could do better. So I think it was then when they realized what they can do.
I think Augustana also did a good job of exposing our weaknesses, not how like Dubuque had or Marion had. So I think we kind of realized what we needed to do to be better and to be stronger, either at the net or in the back row. So I think the next day we kind of like put those pieces together, and we kind of like learned from our mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like after the Augustana game, so like the next day we had our tournament at Co, and like going into that game, we got there in the morning, I had no idea what team was going to come out. I was worried it was going to be the same as Augustana, but I was hopeful it wasn't, and we played really well. I think we had a lot of fun too. I just remember being on the court, and Ella McLaughlin got a block with the back of her hand. Yeah. She's facing the opposite way, and me and Ella are just cracking up on the court, and so it was just a lot of fun that day, and that's when we play the best volleyball for sure.
So advancing this forward to hosting the Midwest Conference Tournament, that was an electric atmosphere for the semifinal match against Illinois College. How awesome was the crowd in that match?
Yeah, they're always awesome. We have a lot of support all the time, which is awesome, and I don't know. It just makes it so much more fun to play when there are so many people there to support you.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the match when Coach Meeker was in our huddle, and he said, "Wow, isn't this fun, guys?" And as we were all standing there, we could hear the bleachers shaking and all of the baseball boys and basketball boys and soccer girls going, oh, 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 oh. And like our bodies were shaking, the floor was shaking. It was like almost like nerve-wracking, but it wasn't because they were going to support us no matter what. So that was just, it was unreal. I haven't really been in a game like that quite before.
It gives me goosebumps thinking back about it.
And one crowd chant that was often heard throughout the SAW was Rams in 3, Rams in 3. Honest answer now, could you hear that out on the court, and what confidence did that give you?
Yeah, I could always hear it because I knew who was starting it. I knew it was Isla's boyfriend Colin and the baseball guys starting it. But I mean, I think that just goes to show that obviously, number one, they probably just wanted us to win really fast. I don't know if they maybe had homework or something. But I think that just shows how much confidence I'm student section and all the other fans, because I knew that the student section started it, but my dad even said one time, he was like, yeah, I started chanting with him too. And just like stuff like that, like, you know, that like everybody in that gym that's there to watch us is there for us and like fully for us. And then, I mean, regardless of the outcome, but I think that just shows how they have our backs.
Yeah, my mom would always ask if I could hear their chants too, and I never do hear them. Like, unless somebody's pointing it out, I'll listen, but I don't know, I guess I'm just zoned in.
Oh, I always heard that. I think they were just kind of like echoed in my ears, and I was like, yeah, Rams in 3, let's go, let's do it. So it kind of fueled me to want to finish the game in 3, I guess.
One of the things that mystified me during the season was the purple dinosaur. I'm dying to know the story about the purple dinosaur. So do you know the story, and can you share with our podcast audience?
So the purple dinosaur is my brother. And so in high school, he had this dinosaur costume, but it was like orange. And he would come to all my games. He didn't come to my games for like probably until I was like a junior. And he started coming and he's like, wow, Rory's actually good. And so he started getting really into volleyball. And he got this dinosaur costume and would come to my games, and everybody just thought it was hilarious. And then he started wearing it to Cornell games. That one eventually like broke or something, and he had to order a new one, and so he got the purple one. But yeah, he's probably the best supporter ever.
It was something very fun to see when the Rams crowd was bouncing up and down. The purple dinosaur was as well. So thank you for sharing with our podcast audience to clear up that mystery. That was really something that was on my bucket list for this podcast to clear up. So thank you. I had one question about the coaching staff, because last year, Sydney Meeker in 2021, she was on the team, and then now she was an assistant coach in 2022. So how important was it for you three to have her on the coaching staff, because she knows what it's like to play in Jeff Meeker's system, and perhaps can maybe translate sometimes if a message gets lost from Coach Meeker? Now she can say, hey, this is what he was trying to say. How important was it to have her on the coaching staff this year?
I think for me, it was super important just because last year I came in and Sid was actually one of the girls that I had like just grown really close with and trusted and was super comfortable with on the court. And so I think that having her on the coaching staff was extremely helpful in many ways throughout the season. And whether it was in practices or games, just having like that person that like I knew would have my back or just be like the one to like pat my shoulder when I came off the bench and be someone that I could talk to. And so I think that it was crucial for her. And I think that it helped a lot of our defensive back row people, as well as Sydney was able to help with a different role that she was in as well.
Yeah, I think that it was super helpful that she had already known the majority of the team prior to the season starting. So she can, provide feedback to them, how they want to hear it. She knows like their personalities, how they're going to react to things. And I don't know, it was really fun to watch how her coaching grew throughout the season. I think she's doing a really good job.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think it was helpful that she got to play with a lot of the girls on the team. I would say, like, personally, I played with her in the back row. And so this year, whenever I would struggle, I would always ask her, and she knew how to talk to me, knew how I would respond to her coaching, I guess, mechanisms. But it just really helped to have someone who knew what it was like to struggle in the back row and like knew what to do, because she's been there, she's done it. But yeah, it was also really fun, like Rory said, to watch her grow and learn how to be a coach, because I don't know if she'd really coached a high quality team before. So
She coached some 4th graders with me last year.
oh,
was
oh,
exciting.
so she has experience. Okay, perfect. But yeah, she embraced her role and she took it and ran, and I think she did a really good job for her first college coaching season.
So now we've been touching a lot on the volleyball side of things, but obviously, as you 3 are seniors, you're now looking at your options after college. So if you are comfortable sharing with our podcast audience, what are your plans for future years after Cornell?
I'm actually going to come back for a 5th year.
5th year.
Fifth
Okay,
year.
let's go.
So I'll be back with the Rams. Yeah, I tried to get the other 2. I'm still trying.
I have applied to physical therapy school, and I've gotten into Wash U in St. Louis, so I might end up there, but we'll see what other opportunities I have if other schools want me. I have to pick, but yeah, those are my plans.
I am up in the air right now. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm hopefully going to be getting a job. I will be coming back for the role of biggest fan next year, so I'm going to try and go for that title. So yeah.
Official title, Olivia Richards.
You might,
Biggest fan.
might need a dinosaur costume.
Will I? Okay. I'll have to call
You can
Jacob.
get a mini one.
Will do.
The tradition must live on of the purple dinosaur, so we'll see if it can continue. So you've mentioned this a few times throughout the podcast, but now as we wind down, looking ahead to next year, Grace, we just learned that you will be using your 5th year and coming back to the Rams, so that's very exciting to see you in 2023. But how do you think the Rams will be in 2023? You 3 know the players' abilities. Is there a good chance of an 11th consecutive title in the Midwest Conference next year?
I'd say, yeah. I think that it would be dumb to say no just because of the potential of the team. And although we're losing 2 really big keys, we also we're also having a lot of returners come back, with myself included, but yet another really good recruiting class that the coaches love to tell us about. And I'm just excited to get in the gym and see their potential and how we go from there.
I think they're going to be really successful this coming year. There's a lot of key roles. I mean, you only have to fill 2 spots. You'll be fine. But no, everybody's really awesome, and I'm sure they're gonna hopefully go farther than we did this year.
I would agree. There's a lot of competition in the gym, and there's a lot of girls pushing each other. And I know that they're gonna want these roles that have just opened up, and they're gonna fill them fast. So I'm excited to see who rises to the top and what happens, because it's gonna be hard for Coach Meeker to put a lineup together with how much talent is in the gym.
As we are about finished, I wanted to thank you 3 for coming on to the first ever episode of Hilltop Sports Report. Thank you so much. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with the Rams faithful before we go away, or have we covered everything that you want to cover?
Roo!
Go Rams!
No, thanks to everyone for their continued support throughout the season. Yeah. We really appreciate everyone who follows along and supports us. It means a lot.
And thank you for making this podcast and having us be on the first episode. That's very cool.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm very thankful that you agreed to do it, and I'm hoping that this can spread the word and bring awareness to an incredible season from the Rams here in 2022. So thank you so much, and that'll do it from inside the Academic Technology Studio. Thank you to Grace, Rory, and Olivia for joining me in the studio for the first ever Hilltop Sports Report podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and keep an eye out on the Cornell Rams website and the Rams social media platforms for details on when the next episode of the Hilltop Sports Report will drop. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Jumpin Jack, saying, I'll see you next time.